There are new developments this morning on President Trump's crackdown on undocumented immigration. The New York Times reports growing frustration inside the White House about the pace of arrests and deportations as the administration seeks to carry out what it says will be the largest deportation program in American history. This comes as the Washington Post reports the Trump administration is reopening a sprawling detention center in South Texas for migrant families facing deportation. With us now is immigration attorney David Leopold, former president of the American Immigration Lawyers Association. David, I thank you for your time. What would the reopening of that specific facility mean?
Well, I guess the first question you got to ask is, what's the motivation here? What is the point of locking up children? Does this align with what President Trump campaigned on when he was talking about keeping our cities safe and things like that, and locking up people who have committed crimes? Why? How does that help us by locking up a child and the child's mother or father? And you know, does it lower the price of eggs? Does it lower the price of milk? I guess the first question I have is what's the motive? What are they trying to achieve? Are they going back to the horrific child separation policies that we saw during Trump 1 that had a bipartisan recoil? Republicans, Democrats, independents, everybody was thoroughly disgusted and put off when they took children away from their parents. Is that what we're going back to? And if so, why?
And so I'm just wondering, like, and the executive has so much leeway and essentially so much power on even how directives are carried out, what priorities are put first, second, third. But what would this mean for families, right? I mean, and what would this mean for those children and the parents and their access to even basic legal assistance?
Well, we saw again during Trump 1 that what it means is they're cut off. They're not able to get a hold of other family members, of lawyers, which brings us back to, you know, this has got to be an awfully big surprise to the American people who were voting for clearly secure borders, but were not voting to have the person who takes care of their mother or their father in an assisted living home deported, not voting to have essential workers cleared out of meatpacking plants and agriculture, people who put food on our table during the pandemic. And now these are the people that Donald Trump is targeting. And I wonder, why are they going after these people who aspire, if they could get a normalization of their immigration status? They would be the first people to stand in line, these immigrants. They would be the first people to register. They would be the first people to show that they bring value, because we already know they bring value to the United States. Donald Trump said so himself during the pandemic when he used to refer to the same undocumented workers that he wants to lock up today. He used to refer to them as essential workers, because that's exactly what they are, Jose.
David, do you hold any hope that maybe the broken immigration system, which everyone can agree is broken,
Yeah.
Do you have any faith, any hope?
Well, I think you got to have faith and you got to have hope, despite everything. Yeah, ultimately, the American people are good people. The American people know at the end of the day what's right. Again, back to the children, you saw the recoiling, the horror, the shock, the disgust several years ago when the administration under Donald Trump tried to separate children at the border and lock them up. We all remember, it's seared in our brains and our heads, the sound of that young child who had been separated from his mother crying in a detention center.
Yeah.
So
David
I
Leopold,
do have hope because I believe in the American people.
Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate your being with us this morning.